Good afternoon. This is Chantal from Be Inspired. I'm coming to you from my new and tidied up craft studio, which I'll give you a little tour of later. I'm filming this on TikTok because it has filters, because I have sinuses and it looks terrible. So my son said, just use like TikTok. So yeah, I'm doing what the teenagers do. So it only records for 10 minutes, so I have to keep hitting record. I hope it's recording. I hope it's putting sound on. Anyway, if it's not, I'll have to do a voiceover or something. So, I want to show you, it's September. I can't even remember what I showed you last time, but I know linen soup was one of them. So we might as well start with linen soup. So linen soup is a Dawn Barker pattern. And it uses like a broth. So I've got a Miss Lamotte's merino linen, and like it's not plain, it's got colors in, but it's subtle. And then I made with my minis, because I had millions of minis, I made 2 different cakes. I think one was warmer colors and one was the greens and blues, and then you use all of these yarns together. So you'd use like 1 2 3, then back 1 2 3, etc. The pattern is very intuitive once you get going. It's actually really easy, which I probably said before, but in case you didn't see the before. And this is what it's looking like so far. It actually creases. It's so weird. It creases like it's a woven fabric, and it actually feels like a woven fabric. Look how beautiful it is. I'm just loving the color changes. So that's linen soup. I love it so much. I haven't got my other one here, but I've got a new one I started with 2 zubber balls and I can't remember if I'm using a big fox or if I'm using another type of zubber. Might be a big fox. I think I'm using a big fox and 2 zubbers. So I'll put a pic of that in my newsletter. It's really looking beautiful. So that was that. And then I got a whole lot of socks to the point where I've passed the gusset. So I've made a little marker where the gusset is. I think I've got a pair, which is 2. I've got this one. I've got my Karoo one, which is 4, and a crocodile one. I've got 5 socks that are past the gusset, so I can just pick them up and knit without any excuses of like, I can't pick it up now, I'm tired, and got to do a heel, blah, blah, blah. So this is my move. It's a Lang Yarn Addicts yarn. It is so soft, and I love rainbows, so it's rainbow colored. So I just wanted to show you that I have a whole lot of socks at that point. Then my garter breeze. I don't think I'd started this last time. It's a Stephen West pattern. Oh my word, it's such a lovely, easy pattern. That's garter breeze. I started with a big fox. I'm trying to think. I think this is Norma cluster, and this is Tarantula Nebula. Let me show you close up, because the colors in it, there's like little unexpected pops. And in the blue, you think it's just like a blue skein, but can you see the little pops of other colors? I don't have that skein here, but this is the Tarantula Nebula. I just love them. They're just such fun. So I'm going to use a 3rd color and then a 4th color. So that's my garter breeze. Then, what's in here? Oh, this is my brioche that I started for Egan. I don't know if I showed it last time, but it's Lang, Yarvel and Silk. I'm teaching this tomorrow, the brioche section. It's interspersed with plain garter stitch, so it's a real nice pattern from Knit Graffiti called Brio Comfort Shawl. Sorry, I'm whizzing through these because I'm very aware this thing's going to stop in like 6 minutes, and then I'll to do the next portion. This is a sock blank, although it doesn't look blank, that I got from Karoo Festival from Teresa Yarn Creations. So these are knitted up, and then the dyers can either dye them or paint them, so you can actually get different effects to if you were dyeing a skein of yarn. So look how interesting it is. So it came with a little mini. I've split the mini in 2, so I've done half of the mini on this rib, and then I'm busy knitting the cowl. I did reduce stitches because I like knitting on a 3.5 needle. The pattern said a 3. And I can't see it because it's on small circulars. But if this is going to be too like tight as a cowl and then to whip it into a hat, I'm just going to make it a hat. It will be a sock head. Oh, I thought I dropped a stitch. It'll be a sock head slouchy hat, because I think the number of stitches are okay for a hat. So we'll just see what it becomes. Talking of hats, this is my double. It is reversible. It's got the orange side, so you can wear it like this. But I don't really like wearing hats with brims. I prefer them to be like a little slouchy. So this one's got perfect amount of slouch. So I look like one of the walkers tells me I look like a homeless person. So with my slouchy hobo hat, he calls it. So that was my socky cowl. Then funny story. I tell my knitting group, oh, I'm starting a stripometry. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. Such a lovely pattern. And someone says, Shant, you knitted one of those. Or you started one. And I'm like, no, I couldn't have. Well, she sent me photo evidence. And I did find it. I had started it. But in very bright colours. And now this one is in very not bright colours. So it's going to be interesting. So that is my stripometry. It's also a Stephen West pattern. It hasn't had much love this last month because I've been doing my linen soup, etc., etc. I've got a few minutes left. Let me show you my last project that I want to show you, and then I'm going to start a new video for the spinning. And then I'll also do a little studio tour. This is the Sisterhood shawl. I'm doing it in the Zaba Crazy Boys. There's pink, there's orange, and there's a blue and pink one. And then I'm using a Miss Lamotte. I think this is linen, rustic linen. It's got little bits. So I need to get this past the blue to where it's changing colour. It's a very interesting pattern. But it's at the point where I'm still trying to memorize it, so it seems like a bit of work to pick up. I need to get it to where I'm just not having to think and I can just pick it up and that. I have behind me my windsurfer shawl. I'm not going to show you that. Actually, I've got a few minutes. Let me show you. So this is my windsurfer. It was feeling rather dense with a 3mm needle per the pattern, so I've actually changed it to a 3.5 now, and I've only changed it near the top, and it's not floppy, but it's definitely a little bit softer. So I'm busy just throwing in all bits. I prefer here. This is when I was using like color change yarns, and then I don't like this piece with the very variegated merino, and then I'm using little bits and bobs, and I'm going to put in some zubber ball, more zubber ball, and some milli colory. So it's a fun one, but it's a process. It sort of sits and looks at me, and I do a bit of crochet every now and then. So there's that. I could show you a million other whips, as you know, but we're going to move on to spinning. So I'm going to stop this. We're on like 9 minutes. At least it's keeping me to the point. And I'm going to get my spindles and show you the Kravelli spindles. Right, I'm back. And I have, these are all the spindles that are left. They're 4 support spindles. So I contacted Kravelli, and I actually thought she was the one who was wood turning these. So I was even more impressed. That a lady could run a business and would turn these. But what she does is she sources wood turners and crafters and artisans from her area, and I don't know how you pronounce it, but I say Tbilisi in Georgia in Eastern Europe. This beautiful town with all these coloured houses. It's absolutely beautiful. And her son is an off-roader, and he goes into the forest after wind or snow, and he collects tree branches or the forest ranger might say that a certain tree needs to be chopped down because it's a hazard or it's not well or pruned back or whatever. And he will chop the tree, and then he brings these pieces of wood to his mom, and they get cured naturally in the sun. And then these, she obviously must distribute them to these wood turners, and she goes to little workshops and works with them. She says she has tried to make a spindle before, but it was hard work. So these are absolutely beautiful. And one of my customers has ordered 2. They arrived, and that same day she ordered a 3rd one. She knows that they are hard to come by. Well, they're impossible to come by in South Africa. You've got to import them. And they're absolutely beautiful how they turn. They come with little bowls. So they're different to, I've got 1 drop spindle. They're different to when you are spinning your yarn like this, because obviously the weight can break that yarn. So it's actually, I thought support spindles were harder to use, but they're actually not. They're actually easier. And you can spin really, really fine because it's actually supported on the little bowl. She sent me, these are called lap bowls. So they actually sit between your knees in your lap, and then you can spin. So you can spin on the right level. And then these little bowls would sit on the table. So I'm not an expert at all. And we have like 8 minutes for me to show you. So let me grab one of mine. So this is what I spun the other day. This is its little bowl. This is the spindle. So you're not going to be able to see all of it, but I'm going to just put, I wonder if I can just angle it down a bit. Let me just try that. There, okay. So let me try. So what happens is this doesn't get attached here. It's sort of like the yarn is spun onto the cob. This is called a cob, or it's on the shaft, and then this yarn bit is the cob. So, okay, got to be in the right angle. So you literally spin this, and I also can't have sleeves on. Drives me nuts. Sorry, got to be in like spinning mode. Okay, so you spin. Why does it feel weird spinning that way? No, it's fine. I really have to practice, and it's hard doing on camera. But basically, as you're spinning, this is twisting. It's putting twist in. And then you can pull this draft up, and it works really nicely with I'd only know how to do it with a long draw. So you pull it up, and then the spin actually goes into this piece of fiber. And then you give it another spin. And in the beginning, you'd obviously just spin and park it to draft it. But I was getting to the stage where I was spinning and I was actually pulling and drafting at the same time, which is very exciting. I didn't think I'd get to that point. Oh, just work with like cushions underneath you, because if you drop it, that's not going to be good for the spindle or you, because you'll cry. So I'm just winding this piece of yarn that I spun on, and I'm going to spin again and draft it up, spin. And what my fingers want to keep doing is stopping the spin, whereas I've got to try and learn to let the spin go and to actually draft it as it's spinning. And that's just going to take practice. That is all it's going to take. A beginner can grab this, can spin that, because all it is spinning, like a top, and hold it, and it's made fiber. I mean, it's made yarn. Pretty even as well. I mean, I'm doing this quite candid. And then you wind it on. And then you'd either prepare this as a single, or you could ply it with another single to make a plied yarn. And what's easier with this as a beginner is if this was too thin, it would snap if you were doing it on a drop spindle. But with the support, it's got gravity on its side because it's being supported and held. And then you just put as much spin as you want into that piece. All I'm doing is spinning, twisting this little spindle, and then it's ready to wind on. It's literally that easy. Obviously you want to get to the point where you can spin and hold it and draft without while it's spinning. I know what the problem is. I'm used to working with it in my lap. So it just feels like it's at a weird angle here. Maybe if I stand up. No. Definitely like it in my lap because that's what I'm used to. But it is possible to do it here, obviously, because otherwise you wouldn't have these bowls. Although you can put the bowl on the chair. I've got such a long drawer here. It's testing my arm strength. I'm going to wind a bit in, put a bit of spin into that piece, and then wind that piece on. And I still got a piece on my fingers, which I'm going to put some more spin in. You can't even really see in the camera that it's spinning. It's quite amazing. And I get really long spins out of it. Obviously, I'm trying to do it at a funny angle here. But they're just so smooth and so beautiful. Really, really chuffed with them. The other one I gifted myself 2 and a drop spindle. This is the other one. This one will go in my lap. Sorry for that noise. This is a metal tip, little metal tip. So I've actually asked Cherie from Ruby Ceramics if she can make me a ceramic bowl so that the tip doesn't ruin this little wooden bowl over the years. I'm just going to keep going until our 10 minutes are up. And it's funny because you can get a thick piece, but then all you do is you unfill it and then you can draft it out. Look at my hands moving further apart. Down. So if you ever wondered if you can do this, there are videos on YouTube, which I watched. And literally with anything you do, it's practice. Will make your strong arms. Maybe I'll get rid of my bingo wings. If I do it every day, like exercise. I mean, look how smooth you get it. Like, even. It's just amazing. And there's no like hitch knots or any knots you have to worry about. It's just pull, draft, and spin. See? Easy peasy. So those are the Kravelli spindles. I'm hoping to have a very long, lovely relationship with them. So buy a spindle, become addicted, buy some more. Best fun ever. Right, are you ready for a studio tour? So as you walk in, we've got my current projects, my wannabe projects, my needle stash, my patterns that I've printed, my painting, which I'd like to do every day, but doesn't happen. And then we move around through here. This is my some projects, and these are like my sock yarns and stuff I'm going to use up like shortly. And then here's my new project. Look, I organized the colors into little buckets, so that will sit there until it has a space. This is projects I've just shown you, some things for customers, and yarn that I'm going to be casting on my bags. And then very proud of this yarn storage. And then up here, it's just my little, there's my spindles in this beautiful box that my mom used to do this like folk art painting and teach people. This is a little wooden box that it just seems perfect to have my spindles in a little hand-painted wooden box. These are just precious things. My branch weaving I must finish. Painting I bought from a local, she's a local artist and she also makes paint, so I bought paint from her and a painting. And then here's my subbers, some more spindles. I don't know why I put these spindles here. They should actually just be with my spindle collection. This is my support spindle I bought in the UK last year. Then in here, projects. So I don't lose my whips anymore, Terry, my stripometry. And then in here is more projects, and also all my little bits and bobs, the beads and ribbons that we use for gifts, etc. My kids read it. And then there are like books and projects, and my drum carder, my knitting machine is all there. The slamarts, my fibers to spin up, my yarn stash. Then just when I get beautiful like cards and thank you cards and stuff from people I've bought things from, I find it hard to throw things away. My knitting chair, my cat's knitting chair. And then there's a gizmo and there's a Grinch. They love being in here. And this is my trolley with all my accessories and stuff. And some more whips. Don't tell anyone. My sewing machine cabinet. Poor sewing machines. And there's my desk. And my cat, Grinchy. My favourite bags. And my current work for my class tomorrow. Oh, I forgot. I have to still do a segment. So I will do a segment after this. So that is my little patch of heaven. With all the colours and all the like things I need for life. This stuff was supposed to be moved into the cupboard. It will go later. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye. Okay, me back. So, a lot of people I know have been traveling, or they're about to go traveling, or like myself, I got skeins last year when I was traveling. So I started a list. I don't have stuff to show you because I've shown you all my stuff and it's stuff that you know about, most of it. So I've started a little list in a little book called Travel Yarn. So when you're in a shop overseas or wherever, or if you come and visit my shop, you might just get a little bit distracted. So, and I also get distracted, and then I can never remember, like, I don't know, I just end up buying one skeins and just never actually being focused and in what I'm buying. So I've started a list. If you have any other suggestions, please let me know. A muscle burr takes only 100 grams, or if you have 250 gram skeins, then you have two parts of the hat different, like this one. This one is also 250 grams, two times 50 grams skeins, so also put a doubler in there. So if you go to a shop and you see these two beautiful skeins, 50 grams, buy two, make a doubler or a muscle burr. Then the garter breeze, which is the one I've shown you, that is 3 skeins of 100 grams plus 1. So he uses 3 colors, but one of the colors, the third color, he needs obviously 1 and a bit skeins. So I thought, well, just get 4 skeins, or buy 3 skeins and you can just add some solids or stripe into the third section to make that skein go further. Nebula, it's about 3 skeins of sport weight if you do the short sleeves for a size 5. So that's about 900 meters. I don't even think I used all 3 of my skeins, so I could probably get away with, oh no, you don't want to get away with 2 because you probably need 2.5. So 3 skeins for Nebula. Sock hair curl, like the one I'm doing now, you just need 100 grams. I think it's nice to have a 50 grammer to make the ribbing, to make it a little bit bigger. So 100 grams of sock weight plus maybe 50 grams for the rib. Please excuse my husband's whistling. He whistles all day long, if you can hear him. Then I found one. I'm thinking, who's this pattern? Oh, it's in Interpretations Volume 4. It's a Joji Locatello, the one where she does with her friend. I'm trying to think what her friend's name is, and I can't now. It's called Flyaway Twist. I'm sure you'll find it on Ravelry. And that needs a main color and a contrast color, 100 grams of each. So that's a really nice one. About 360 meters times 2. So 360 of one color, 360 of the other color. Then the Traveler Shawl by Dawn Barker. You just need 200 gram sock weights, about 366 meters each, of strong contrast colors. So have a look at those. Traveler Shawl by Dawn Barker, the Flyaway Twist. Look, just put in Flyaway Twist into Ravelry. I'll also try and put it into my, I'll try and remember to add that to my newsletter. Sockhead Cowl, Nebula, Garter Brie Shawl, Doubler, and Musselburgh. I've only just started working on this list, so that's what I've got so far. There must be dozens of other patterns. And then I also thought, not only are these patterns nice in terms of you know what to buy for the yarn. Okay, Nebula, you wouldn't take it on a trip, because I just wouldn't take a sweater on a trip. It's just a bit, need too much thinking. But things like Garter Breeze, Doubler, Musselburgh, Sockhead Cowl, is so easy to knit when you're traveling. So if you can think of, if you know easy knit patterns that are good for traveling, or only take certain amounts of yarn so you don't have to travel with loads of yarn, or if you are traveling and you're buying from a yarn shop, a great pattern that you only need a certain amount, like it's not complicated, like you just need 2 skeins or 3 skeins. I think 3 skeins would be the max. Let me know. Hit me up. Dub me up. Just let me know. Okay, bye.